What's going on with the gang, people? It is April 24th, 2026, 9:06 a.m. at the time of recording. Got on a little bit later, slept in a little bit. A lot of stuff has come out this morning, man, and it's like one of my dream managers, one of the presidents of that club has come out. And let me tell you something. If they don't make this move and they have the green light from this club is absolutely never gonna go anywhere, man. Like absolutely anywhere. Now, is it the smartest move to go after this manager? I mean, maybe, but we can get into it right now, right? So before we get started, I want to tell you guys something about the journey that I'm going on right now. There is a lot of stuff in my life that I have a crutch with, and one of the things that I'm getting rid of right now is smoking marijuana. I'm now about 7 days without doing it, and it feels fantastic. I feel really good, and I like where my mind is at, and I like the direction that I'm going towards right now. So, all the support for that has been really great. I have a good support system around me, great families around me. So I'm never going to really be tempted to do stuff anymore, but it just feels great to be on the other side of this. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and get into the first piece of news that I saw this morning when I opened up my timeline on Instagram. The first thing I check on when I wake up is Instagram, because usually Instagram is where I get a lot of my Chelsea news, because I follow a lot of Chelsea pages on there, along with Twitter. But when it comes to specifically Chelsea news and what I'm trying to find, generally Instagram is where I find it. But I don't want to pull Instagram up on my laptop because it's not the same as if I'm pulling it up on the phone, right? So if we go ahead, and we pull over to this piece of news right here, right? My girlfriend is in the living room doing her yoga. I'm really happy she's doing that, by the way. Really, really happy. It says breaking, bro. Como president Mirwan Suarso, hopefully I didn't butcher that, on Cesc Fabregas. If that makes him happy, that's him. You want your employees to stay with you as long as possible. But at the end of the day, we don't own him, and he's free to go to Chelsea if he wishes. This is my thing. Do I want Cesc Fabregas to come while the club is in this state? I've been on record saying that this is the manager I would prefer to go get. And this is the guy that I think that if you really want to keep somebody like Enzo Fernandez in the squad, this is the manager that you can go get. Absolutely. Because they have similar profiles in how they play and how they play, for one. And two, I feel like he would be the one guy that can get this team back on side. You can go hire, a Xabi Alonso. You can go hire like a Jose Mourinho or something. But I think players want to play for somebody that's been in the game, that's actually been on the pitch. I'm not saying Jose Mourinho is a shit manager, because he's not. He's Chelsea's greatest ever manager for a reason. And he's arguably a top 5 manager of all time. Cesc Fabregas would be an absolute coup for this club if they went to go get him. If the Como president is out here saying that he's free to go if he wishes, all Chelsea have to do is contact him. All Blue Co got to go do is just contact him. What do you want? How much do you want to come to Chelsea? But the one thing that we need to understand here is he going to have any kind of pull on what players come in and out of the club? I'm sure he's going to want some of his players from Como. I'm sure he's going to want a few more experienced players in the squad, because he probably sees Chelsea and he's like, you know what? This team isn't bad. They just need some type of good direction and some type of tactical discipline. If you look at Como in the Serie A table right now, they're sitting 5th, meaning they will get into Europe if their season ends right now. Now, would he leave a European club to come to a club that is more than likely going to miss out on Europe altogether? I think it depends on what he's being promised. But then again, we've seen countless managers come in here, be part of the project, and then they do something significant like Enzo Maresca, and they don't have any pull or say on which players come because there's data-driven analysis on what players come in and out of the club. I think Cesc Fabregas will be an absolute coup, bro. He would be an absolute coup, bro. And like, I'd be here for it. I mean, I think that this is a move that we need to go do. All the other links that we have with Adoni Iraola, you know, Edin Terzic is now officially the manager at Bilbao, so he's off the table. But then again, you look at the short list of names that you see there. It's like, are we really convinced by any of them? Not really. This is the one guy that I think that will convince the entire squad to get back on side. And this is a move that I think needs to really happen, man. If Chelsea are serious and they really want to go do something in the market, they need to get somebody like him through the door immediately. Like, immediately. Another thing I want to touch on here, you know, I've been speaking on this guy JNR a lot, and my only issue with him, bro, is that his takes on Enzo Fernandez, I think, are absolutely ridiculous. But everything else that he actually speaks on, you know, makes some sort of sense. He's had the same mindset as me about Cesc Fabregas in a way. My dream of Cesc Fabregas at Chelsea is alive. There's no better choice. He's the only man I believe that can change the club from inside out. Atmosphere, culture, fan support, talent ID, mentality, coaching, respect, it's all there. And it is all there. Now, he doesn't have Premier League experience, but you have to get that Premier League experience from somewhere, right? You have to get that experience from somewhere. You just can't say, oh, he has no Prem experience, so he won't make it in the Premier League. Enzo Maresca didn't have Premier League experience, right? He got top 4 and won 2 pieces of silverware. Why can't Cesc Fabregas do the same thing? If we're saying Enzo Maresca is not an elite manager, why can't Cesc Fabregas do the same exact thing? He'll have the fan support. He'll bring the atmosphere back to the bridge. He'll be able to identify talent that can actually make this team better. He has the mentality and the club mentality to instill in these players. And you best believe he would find a way to get John Terry into this first team squad on the coaching staff, right? He would bring the club legends back. He would want them on the coaching staff. That's probably one thing that he would tell the board is like, I understand you guys don't want club legends at the club because they'll speak out about what's going on behind the scenes. But at the end of the day, if you guys want to stay here and you guys want to continue to run this club, you need to bring the club legends back, whether they're on the first team staff, whether they're at board level, technical director, sporting director, it doesn't matter. The sporting directors have to go if Cesc Fabregas comes. They have to go. Because I think that's one thing that he would also say is the sporting directors need to allow me to either identify talent or I'm not going to come, and they have to go. In order for me to be there, I need to be able to bring in talent that I feel like would make this team better, and they have to basically co-sign it. Because Winston Lee and Stewart have done nothing but run the recruitment into the ground, bro. Into the fucking ground. And that's something that needs to come to an end because Chelsea are in serious jeopardy. Yes, they may finish outside of the top 10 this season, but next season, if shit doesn't change, they're going to be where Spurs are. And we saw Leicester City, a team that won the Premier League 10 years ago, is now in League One. Do I realistically think Chelsea will ever get relegated to League One? No, but the championship's possible. But let shit continue to go the way it's going. Let shit hit the fan even more. This club will find itself in League One and possible administration in the next 5 to 6 years. So Cesc Fabregas would absolutely be the guy that the fan base should honestly be screaming for at this point. And he's right. The atmosphere, everything would essentially be brought back over time. But the first step is to get him through the door. And I know he's not going to be a yes man because I think he knows better and he's man enough to say, no, like this isn't right. Enzo Maresca, Pochettino, Tuchel, we're all speaking out against the ownership because they're grown men at the end of the day and they're not going to be pushed around. Liam Rossini, on the other hand, and like we need to stop talking about Liam Rossini because he's no longer here. But the one thing that really was his demise was he was a yes man. He was a puppet, bro. At the end of the day, when you don't have a backbone and you're not sitting here able to get the players to respect you, and you hear about the sacking of the manager, right? You hear about the sacking of the manager, and then none of the players posted anything about him getting sacked. Every other manager that has gotten sacked by Chelsea, maybe not Graham Potter, but Thomas Tuchel, Pochettino, Enzo Maresca, all went on their personal time on social media to thank them for their time at the club and making them better players. We didn't get that from Lee Senior, bro. So, again, we're looking at this story here, and to be honest with you, man, Cesc Fabregas would be an absolute bargain of a freaking manager to come through this club because we need him. We need a manager like him at this club. Another thing I wanted to touch on here from this guy J&R, Chelsea spent close to $200 million to replace Christian Pulisic at left wing and haven't come close. Mudryk, Gittins, Garnacho do not possess even 1% of technical ability he had. Never thought I'd reminisce over him, but this is what Clear Lake do to us. And as an American Chelsea fan, when I found out that he signed for Chelsea, I think this was back in early 2019, and then he signed in January 2019, but he didn't debut until the 2019-2020 season. I screamed, bro, because it's like an American is coming to Chelsea, a team that I've supported, and my favorite American player, to be honest with you. He hasn't been replaced since. If we still had a Christian Pulisic in the squad, I think the left wing position we wouldn't have an issue there. But the ownership, they sold him. He wanted out. And just like a lot of the players wanted out during that 22-23 season, now he's turned into a very good winger out there in AC Milan, bro. A very good winger. So it'll be interesting to see who we go get at the left wing position. I mean, they need to revamp that position, bro. That's one of the major positions, in my opinion, that this team really needs to address in the summertime. But with no money, how are you going to be able to go do that? You're going to take out more loans? There actually is something circulating online from Bobby Fairview, right? Where he goes over the entire financial situation that Chelsea are dealing with. I recommend people that know about the finance world and that care about this club, go ahead and take a look at that entire post. It breaks down absolutely everything and also explains why Todd Bowley is no longer really a part of the setup right now. The club is in all sorts of trouble. So in order to get these players through the door, some of our best players may be gone in the summer. But is it realistic that they go get 5 or 6 players in the summer? No, because it's like I keep saying, I got to see it to believe it. I need to see them holding up the jersey. I'm tired of seeing links. I'm tired of seeing transfer fees already, but then we're not paying like the wages. Like if this club is serious, they bring in a manager and they sack the sporting directors at the same time. And bring in new sporting directors, because the ownership, in my opinion, my prediction and my theory, I'm still standing on this, is that in the summertime, because there's going to be more protests and more stuff about saying blue co out, I think sometime over the summer, the pressure is going to mount even more, especially if Chelsea finish outside of the European spots, especially if they don't win the FA Cup, right? There's going to be heads rolling, and it's going to be even more pressure on this ownership. Callum McFarlane is not going to be facing any criticism on my end because he's an interim manager that doesn't even have a UEFA Pro license, let alone a UEFA A license, bro. He doesn't have it. So Callum McFarlane is not going to receive any criticism from me. But the one thing I will say is this, though, is that I like what he did here. Right? Let's go ahead and open this up.
Dwell on what's gone wrong, but you're part of that coaching setup where things have gone wrong, and unless you know what they are, how do you put them right?
I didn't say I don't know what they are. I said I'm not going to discuss them today, and all our focus is on is improving the team performance for Leeds United.
You say that you don't.
That's exactly what you're supposed to say. That is exactly what you're supposed to say. Because realistically, man, he wasn't really part of the problem. He was brought onto the coaching staff for Liam Senior because he had a decent result against Man City, and then you lose to Fulham. But you put him on the coaching staff. He was never the problem. He's just trying to get this team to the end of the season at this point, and his focus is to make sure this team is ready for Sunday against Leeds, because Leeds smell blood, bro. Leeds are going to be up for it. The fans are going to be up for it. The Chelsea fans will be up for it for a different reason, but are the players going to be up for it? The one thing that I think the players need to do, and what Callum McFarlane needs to do, is you got to allow the players to just play. At this point, there needs to be some type of togetherness within this team to where they know they aren't this bad. They can go pull out a performance from somewhere. Now that Liam Racine is not there, you're going to probably see a bit more freedom in how they play, because they didn't know what to do out there when he was on the touchline. Callum McFarlane is going to basically tell him, go ahead, go out there, go do what you guys can do. That's essentially all he can do, because he doesn't have any tactics to really beat Leeds United. Chelsea on paper are a better team than Leeds United, right? But form suggests that Leeds United are going to absolutely destroy us at the weekend, right? They're going to absolutely tear us a new one. But, I mean, we'll see what happens. That's why they play the games, right? That's exactly why they play the games. So, man.
But if you all believe in him, yeah, let's see. So Cesc was part of the decision process, and he is humble enough to actually listen to everybody else. But at the same time, all of us also humble enough to listen to his opinion, because he knows what he's doing. Sometimes we had a data player. To our data, the guy's not good enough. But Cesc says, no, because he's playing differently. With us, he would play this, and I can prove that the data will be wrong, will not be what the data says. And he has proven that with two players, if not more. One I remember is Lucas da Cunha. He was a player that initially was a winger. He moved him into defensive midfielders, and we bought him for 250,000, and we are now having offers for 15 million, stuff like that.
What a
I would say that's all down to Cesc. Cesc was saying, like, well, I'm not sure about him yet for today.
This is a guy that you need to get into this squad immediately, right? If he's against the data and this club is driven off of data, he's going to tell them if he's the manager. Look, I understand that you guys have a specific way of identifying players, but with me playing the game and me being able to identify players and working with them on the pitch, I'm able to tell you guys which players that would actually make this team better. You guys can have your data, and you guys can put this player's data into your system. It may not match what you're looking for, but at the end of the day, it's a results business, and you need to pick up trophies at the end of the day. That's exactly what this sport's about. It's not about data, bro. It's about picking up results and winning silverware. That's all this game is about. Fuck the data, bro. Who cares about that? Numbers don't tell the entire story. Sometimes the numbers lie to you. Look at Alejandro Garnacho, for fuck's sake, bro. That's a data-driven player. Been an absolute shit show for him this entire season. An absolute shit show, bro. So I can appreciate the Como owner coming out and saying stuff like this. That's amazing stuff here. He says, "Don't do it, Cesc." I mean, I agree. Don't do it if you want to come now, but you never really know. If he's tempted and the money is right, he's gonna come to Chelsea, bro. Chelsea fans have raised over 1,500 in less than 1 hour for the protest. Group organizers have a van with the words "Blue Co" out on it to drive around Wembley on Sunday. One anonymous supporter donated £200. Man, Cesc is just as inexperienced as Rossini, so why are people on their knees for him and not worried that it won't just be the same? Because the players didn't believe in Liam Rossini. They would actually listen to Cesc Fabregas, because why? He was an elite player when he was playing the game. And if you're looking at where Como is in the table right now, nobody had Como in a European spot. Nobody had them in the European spot, bro. I don't see any predictions from any Serie A heads saying that Como were going to be in the top 6, bro, or the top 5, top 4. I never saw a prediction video for that. He's able to identify talent. He would bring the atmosphere back to the bridge, which Stamford Bridge has been doom and gloom for the better part now of 6 months. Would you rather have Cesc Fabregas or Xabi Alonso? Given what this club needs, I think Cesc Fabregas would be a better idea. But Xabi Alonso, I think, is waiting for the Liverpool job to open up. So I don't think he would come anyway. Even if Chelsea offered him the job, I don't think he would come. Esteval will travel to Brazil soon and has agreed with Chelsea that he will begin conservative treatment for his serious right thigh injury in his home country in an attempt to qualify for the World Cup. No surgery. I think he needs to be careful. A lot of people were saying it was a hamstring injury, but now we're seeing that it's a thigh injury. I'm trying to figure out. I mean, it's in the same region of your leg, so I'm just trying to figure out which injury is it. Either way, you're not really trying to rush him back for anything. He's 18 years old. We don't need another Reece James episode where he's gonna have 10 hamstring injuries during his entire career, and he's gonna miss more games than he's played. We can't have that. If McFarland wins the FA Cup and qualifies for the Champions League, do you reckon we make him permanent? No, because we're not going to make the Champions League. One, we're too far off of that, bro. If Iraola came with Alex Scott to replace Enzo at Chelsea, then I wouldn't mind. Add Krupi too while talking to Bournemouth. Funny how we try hard to become these mid-table clubs. I mean, you'd be going after mid-table players, bro. I mean, that's essentially what we're talking about here. Is like we're going after all these players in the mid-table in the relegation zone. There's a reason why they're down there. But Alex Scott is actually a decent midfielder. I wouldn't mind him having him, but I would play him alongside Enzo, bro. That's what I'm saying. Like, why I don't understand why people want to sell him so bad. I mean, you're not making any of these moves unless you sell. No farewells for Liam Rosenior from any player yet. Things must have been bad. Yeah, it was horrible, bro. Message for those in the lower tier of Wembley Sunday. Supporters in the lower tier will take part in forming a mosaic flag display in the Chelsea and in collaboration with fan groups celebrating our iconic FA Cup win against Leeds in 1970. Yeah. This is a sackable offense. This alone was a sackable offense. I'm not even going to watch that, bro. Some Chelsea players allegedly confronted Garnacho at halftime after his poor performance against Manchester United. I wouldn't doubt it. I would have been confronting him even earlier than that, bro. Honestly. Our players are in for a shock if Cesc takes over. I'd like to see them try making fun of him and taking the piss.
Che tu che io! Questo è il calcio! Si fa errore! Si dice ok, basta! Sempre parlando, cazzo! E non si gioca al campo!
Bro, I would... Oh, man.
Tutta la partita parlando! Gioca!
Bring that determination to this club, dude. A few of these players need to get their shit handed to them, man. Honestly. Rosenior won't get credit for this, but he did really improve João Pedro. I mean, João Pedro was playing decent under Enzo Maresca too, but he I mean, João Pedro had a good, well, what was it, 6-7 games in a row where he was finding like the back of the net, but that was during the early part of Rosenior's reign. But since then, I mean, he hasn't scored. Nobody scored. And I mean, he's back in training, thank God. Hopefully he starts at the weekend because I don't want to see Liam Delap, bro. No. Like if Liam Delap is starting on Sunday, then you might as well just hand Leeds United a ticket to the final. I'm just gonna say that now. How do you misplace a pass? I'm not gonna watch that because of copyright reasons. Liam Delap on IG. First player to send his farewell, Liam Senior. Thank you for everything, Gaffer. Till we meet in your next club. I doubt that, bro. Our season now revolves around 2 fixtures, Leeds and Tottenham. How can you possibly look at the situation we're in and in the state of the season so far and not think that Terry with Morris as assistant is the right answer? Despicable frauds in the boardroom. Yeah. Chelsea Football Club, as we knew, is no longer in existence. We can't be considered a big club right now because of how bad we are, bro. But Abby Summers, bro, I mean, girl, I'd be more worried about if your team is going to stay up in the Premier League rather than if you're worried about Chelsea, bro. Honestly. Eden Hazard on his time at Real Madrid. Going to Real Madrid was supposed to be a dream, yeah, but for me, it turned into one of the biggest mistakes of my career, maybe even my life. At Chelsea, I was loved, properly loved. The fans, the system, everything was built for me to enjoy football, and I walked away from that thinking the grass was greener. It wasn't, not even close. At Real Madrid, you don't get patience. 1 bad game and you feel it. 2 bad games and you're finished. People talk about pressure, but it's different when the club already has legends in your position and you're expected to replace the magic overnight. I don't think people understand that. Do I regret leaving Chelsea? Yeah, I do, because I left a place where I was happy for a place where I was constantly trying to prove I belonged. And in football, once you start chasing acceptance instead of enjoying your game, you're already losing. People can say what they want, but if I can go back, I would have stayed. Simple as that. Man. Could you imagine if he actually stayed? It's like, could you imagine if he actually stayed, bro? I mean, man, that would have been great. But at the time, he was considered the 3rd best player in the world. He was getting in that conversation, not saying that they're better than them, that he's better than them, but he was walking along the same senses of Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi at that time that he made the move to Madrid. He was. But, he went there. He never took his off-season training seriously, and he would generally come in a little overweight. When he got to Madrid, he came in overweight, and he never recovered. And then I remember the game against PSG when he had his ankle taken out by his own international teammate, bro. And he was never the same after that. I think in total he scored like 5 or 6 goals for Madrid, and they signed him, I think, for close to 100 million. It was insane. Which of these free agents would you take in for your team next season? I'd take Rudiger. Absolutely. We need center halves, bro. I'd take Rudiger back at the club. Bernardo Silva, I would absolutely. I mean, he's a bit older, but you need experience in the squad, especially Premier League experience. So out of everybody there, Rudiger and Silva, honestly. If Arsenal are patient, Arteta will win his first league title next season. If they don't win it this season, they're never winning it, bro. They're never winning it. Unpopular opinion, Chelsea doesn't need Victor Osimhen. Unpopular opinion, Victor Osimhen will make a better striker for Chelsea than Julian Alvarez. Why are you saying we don't need a Victor Osimhen? We absolutely need a center forward like that in the squad. We have João Pedro, but could you imagine Victor Osimhen and João Pedro as a front two? That would be disgusting, bro. That would be elite. Like those are the ones that I'm looking for, bro. You have a second striker and attacking midfielder with an elite number 9. Stop it. They would rip it up. It would be like Drogba and Anelka all over again. I'm telling you that right now. It would have been like that. Chelsea FC are prepared to make a major push to convince Luis Enrique to become their new manager. No, he ain't leaving PSG to come to this mess, bro. Why would you? You had a chance to get him, but you didn't want to have him. You weren't trying to have him have any type of control, and like that's the common denominator with this club. Fabregas on Chelsea links. Nothing to say about that. It'd be stupid to think about that now. I didn't even see any quote from our president. I believe I will continue my chapter as Como head coach. Yeah. I'll be honest. I don't know if he's aware of the comments, but even then, it's like if he's coming out and saying this, then damn, bro. I mean, no one's gonna come to this club, man. But we're gonna go ahead and pivot over to the preview for Leeds United versus Chelsea because I have to get going soon. Unfortunately, I haven't been on stream for that long. I got work today. I slept in for a reason because I was pretty tired this morning. But if we're gonna go ahead and just talk about this Leeds United game at the weekend. Let me go ahead and pull up some stuff here real quick. Well, here's this. Frank Lampard seemingly doesn't rule out a return to Chelsea if asked. I like to think Coventry fans would just enjoy. I would like to think Coventry fans would just be enjoying where we are. The world of management, lots are out of control. You just control your work. At the minute, I think we should enjoy where we are. We've had an amazing season, and I'm really proud and pleased to be part of it. I enjoy what I'm doing here. I can't control who worries or not. Chelsea is a big part of my life, and at the moment, that's their business, and my business is here. All right, man. We'll see what happens. All right, here we go. Cole Palmer apparently has trained today, so he's probably going to be in contention to start at the weekend. Esteval's out for the remainder of the season. We already know this. McFarland on his tactical ideas. I don't think I'm going to talk tactically today. I'll keep that private, but we're ready for Sunday. Everyone is excited for this game on Sunday. Yeah, man. I mean, realistically, bro, what we're looking at here is we're going to essentially have, it looks like the same team we had against, who did we play last weekend, bro? Or on Tuesday, Brighton. We're going to have the same team. The only differences that I would like to see, to be honest with you, and I'm going to go big screen here because I'm probably going to end my stream here pretty soon, guys, because I need to get ready to go get my day started. But this game on Sunday, I mean, Man City plays Southampton, but Man City should walk all over them, in my opinion. Leeds versus Chelsea is going to be a bloodbath, bro, and not for the right reasons. It's going to be a crazy game, dude, because we're more than likely going to concede first because that's what we do. We don't score goals anymore. But this game at the weekend is going to be absolutely insane. I just don't know if we have the cojones or if we have just a mental fortitude to even go pull out a result against a team that's near the bottom of the table, but at the same time, they're actually playing really well. My honest prediction for this is that I think this game goes to penalties. Who wins? I don't know, man. I'm tired of giving predictions and stuff. I'm just gonna say I think this game goes to penalties. I don't know who wins. Because mentally, bro, like I've checked out for the rest of the season. And like if they get to the FA Cup final, cool. There's a trophy to fight for, bro. But like I'm just gonna say this. The fan base is over, bro. And there's no amount of, apologetic remarks in the media or whatever about we'll do better and do our due diligence to go get the right man in charge and bring in the right players. It's like you've had 4 years to do that and you've completely dropped the ball. You spent all the money. You're in debt with 2 different banks. So I don't know, man. I think this game is going to penalties at the weekend on Sunday, and I don't know. I just don't know. More than likely, we do lose, but you never really know. Like you never really know. We've lost 5 straight games in the league. We've lost 7 of 8. There's nothing telling us that this team is going to go out there and get some type of result, but you never really know, man. I mean, I would like to see us win. I would like to see us get to the final, but are we going to beat Man City in the final? No. They just came to the bridge and absolutely ripped us a new asshole 3-0. So no, I don't see a possibility of us winning the FA Cup, but getting to the final, sure. If it goes to penalties and we win that shootout, cool. But don't expect Chelsea to win the FA Cup, bro. Don't expect that. If they do, holy fuck. But even then, like, don't expect it. Chelsea are going to finish outside of the top 10. They're going to probably finish with no trophies. And it's what we deserve. It's not what the fans deserve. It's what this ownership deserves. They deserve to be outside of the top 10 again. They deserve to not have any European football. They deserve to not to have any trophies this season. I'm almost saying just sabotage it like the FA Cup, so then there's nothing for them to really hold on to. Say, oh well, we won the FA Cup, so the fans have to be happy. No, the performances have been shit all season, bro. Particularly in the second half of the season, they've been shit. So there's no amount of things that you can do to turn this fan base back on side. You get Cesc Fabregas, you might as well just leave him there and still sell up. You go get a Xabi Alonso, you still sell up, bro. Like, we're over it. It doesn't really matter. And the message is still clear. Blue Co out. Get the fuck out the club, bro. There's nothing else that you guys can do. There's nothing more that you can say. You can get on your phone during the Brighton game. You can sack Liam Rosenior, another scapegoat to this ownership, right? At the end of the day, Liam Rosenior was always going to be the scapegoat in this, just like Enzo Maresca, just like Pochettino, just like Thomas Tuchel, and to an extent, Graham Potter as well. It's absolutely despicable, right? And then when you hear stuff about how the owners would go into the dressing room and try to tell these players that the performances have to be better, Todd Bowley in 22-23 comes to like the dressing room after I think a loss to Brighton and say this season is embarrassing. Of course it's embarrassing. You guys don't know what you're doing. You guys sacked an elite manager for no reason, and essentially you paid a guy $12 million a year to drag us further and further down the table. And that's essentially what you did with Liam Rosenior too. You paid a guy to drag us further and further down the table. I was saying before the month of March, this team needs to be on 49 points to give themselves a chance for the Champions League. They're on 48 points, and we're almost through April. Their last Premier League win was Aston Villa away 4-1, and you might say that's an aberration, and it was an aberration because they were shit before that. We were down 2-0 to West Ham at home, and it took 3 goals in the second half. That was the last time that this team actually fought in a game to get a result. That was the last game. But even then, we were horrific in the first half. We were bad against Bournemouth. We were bad against Burnley. We were bad against Leeds. We've been bad for this whole entire second half of the season, and it's not coming down to the players. When you sack a manager that, yeah, people didn't like him, and Did he deserve to be the Chelsea manager when he got hired? No. But he proved that he should be the Chelsea manager given what he did. And he had a fantastic start to the season. He was only 6 points behind Arsenal in November. Now we're, what, 22 points back? That's not by accident. That's on purpose. So, my honest prediction for the game at the weekend, I think it goes to penalties. I think the scoreline in that game is going to be like a 1-1 scoreline. I mean, I keep saying Chelsea are going to score in these games, but they haven't scored in 5 consecutive games, bro. I think it's going to be 1-1 after 90 minutes, maybe 2-2 after 120, and then it goes to penalties. And I think we do have the right players on the pitch that can take penalties. I think we can pull it out. But if you don't have players like Cole Palmer on the pitch at that time, if you don't have players like João Pedro on the pitch at that time, if you don't have players like Enzo Fernandez on the pitch at that time, 3 good penalty takers, I think we're in a world of trouble. So I think we do beat Leeds just on penalties. I'm going to say 4-3 on penalties. And we'll see what happens. But with that being said, guys, I need to get out of here. I got work in about an hour and 20 minutes. Need to go check on my lady in the other room, go check on my dogs and all that. I appreciate people watching. I appreciate the engagement. I don't know if I'm going to be streaming tomorrow, given that it's Saturday, and generally on Saturdays I don't get on stream, but I probably will have some shorts uploaded. But yeah, expect a couple videos, I would say, next few days or so, just going over like the manager options that we could turn to. And like I said, if I could rebuild Chelsea, I'm gonna have that video up at some point next week. We're gonna just strip this team from literally the head down in terms of the squad and which players really need to come into the squad to make it better. So with that being said, I'm Jason. Smash the like button, smash that sub button as well. Get your opinions down in the comment section. Who do you want to see as the next Chelsea manager? Xabi Alonso, Cesc Fabregas, Adoni Iraola? And do you think that we can actually get a result against Leeds this Sunday? Let me know in the comment section. Smash the like and all that stuff. I'm out of here. I'm Jason. No Filter Chelsea. Peace out, man. Stay happy. Stay healthy, bro. It's going to be a beautiful 2020.